Hello, welcome back to another live modeling session with Thangys. There's Jimmy in front of me and we gonna create this today. Check it out, it's cool, isn't it? Let's dive right in. Last time we were creating something that I later on realized that it's a leather jacket, so let's just turn it off and switch to the modeling. So today we're gonna go with a very new approach always from the ones before. So we're gonna go with Shift A and let's add a sphere. Okay, in here we can obviously sort of influence the level of the segment, so that's quite handy if you want a really detailed sphere, but we will stick with 32 for the beginning and just to keep it really simple. So number 3, GZ, and let's move it up. So I realized that there has to be a more efficient and easier way to create just a full sort of code body. So now when we have that sphere here, we can place it, or let's place the top around the neck of our Jimmy, and let's switch the X-ray view. So let's tap into the edit mode of it, and of course we definitely don't and won't be needing the bottom half of it, so I just select all those vertices like this, X, and delete it. Okay, so now we ended up with just the one half of the circle. So everything selecting with the A on the keyboard, and let's as turn on the proportion editing, of course, as X, and let's just scale it so it would kind of cover the body, sort of, you know. Now we can also just scale it down. Okay, but here we'll have to be very gentle. Tap out and just move like this. Okay, so this way we kind of got the whole body covered with a new, with a totally new clothing, almost, right? So that was, I think, kind of easy for the start. And the other idea that I had in mind would be deleting everything here. So that's gonna be the second half or the quarter of that sphere. So let's see what happens if we X and delete all the vertices. Oh voila, and we just have the middle. And ladies and gentlemen, we also will be deleting this one because we actually will be needing this cut here of the neck. So let's just simply delete that vertex, and suddenly we have a beautiful, very beautiful sort of hole for the neck. So I guess that maybe we should have gone for this method earlier. Let's give it a modifier of the mirror and toggle the Y axis, and this way it's gonna be just beautifully mirrored to the other side. Look at that. Now when I do any change here, you see what happens. So let's move on, and again here I think today I would go for an open code, so we could also just delete those, I think. So let's do that. Voila, beautiful, so beautiful. And of course the idea here is to make it into a V shape usually, right? That's what, or at least how it is. And perhaps no, I think at this point we will keep it, and we'll try to move those vertices in a way. So G, Y, like that, G, Y, like that, G, Y, like that. Okay, G, Y, like that. So far I think it's quite simple. What should we do with the neck here, because this is not really handy here. So I think, okay, I think I will just start with deleting the vertices, because obviously it's just okay. Pardon me. And let's do something like, let's also delete this one and this one. So now I'm just totally improvising, but I don't think that was a good idea. So I'll just Control Z everything, and it's probably and will be better to just move those. So I'm just gonna select those vertices here, press S and just scale it down 7, and let's just move them. Oops, not so. I'm just having G on my keyboard and then just gonna move those vertices to get that V shape there. Let's see. Alright, still not and the V shape, right? So I'll just need to move them a little bit more. I'm always using this, maybe around this place here. Okay, that's gonna work. And so let's just change that. So what we are doing now is basically just G and moving them in a way, so it would create a V shape, right, like that. So I guess the G, Y, and we'll still need to move them a little bit. So let's just fix it here, I think, and we're just gonna do it in a very, okay, so we don't need to get back again, right? So now just G and we just place them. Nothing really of the rocket science, as many people say, right? That is the rocket science thing. Okay, so you obviously might want to have this perfectly, but I guess this is fine. And let's add a modifier like a subdivision surface maybe, and shade it smooth. Okay, so now let's step out and you see that we have a beautiful code ready. And let's also fix this angle here, or this edge here. I'm gonna add another loop here, Control R, and just create a loop and drag it down. Okay, simple. So let's proceed from here. I'm gonna just move this a little bit down like that, and also this. Okay, that's cool. So now we need to create that color of that code. So I'm just gonna select and try to select the whole loop. So obviously it doesn't help us with selecting all, it just selected those, so we'll be just holding shift and select those manually. Okay, make sure that we have all we needed. Shift D, left click, P, and then check the selection. Now when we tap out, we can see that there is another line here that we just copied, and let's tap to that one in the edit mode. So now we shall, let's extrude it in the Z-axis. Okay, so this is what we got, and we'll fix those here on the top. G, Z down, so it won't be that high, but we had to do it because those ones actually need a lot of the height here or some height. So I'm just gonna G this out. Okay, so this is what we got. Amazing. Just to make sure that these are not too high. Okay, this is, I think, reasonable. That's really nice. And of course now we can test it out by adding a solidify modifier. So this one creates a little bit of the volume here, and if we increase its thickness to either of the sides, now you can see that we are getting that color, right? So I guess that let's stick with it. Why not? Why not? It's gonna be a really thick color, I would say, but perhaps we can work with it. Or we can tap to the edit mode, toggle out the solidify, and let's play with this. So just select everything with Shift Alt and let's G, X, and just drag it down, okay? So it's thinner. This time, if we add the solidify, you can see that it's just really flat curve, which is exactly what we wanted. And now we can easily just keep it maybe like this, it's fine. And let's just tap out from the object mode and apply it. Alright, so now when it's applied, let's also turn off this one. We can play with the shape of it. So obviously it's just now being way too angled to the outside, so let's just select and let's see what happens. Okay, I guess we will be having a little bit of work here to to just fix all those little details here, like this one for example, and also this one here. So I mean, it's not that complicated. I mean, but usually you would prefer to have it a little bit easier, right? Don't we? Okay, so let's toggle the X-ray view and let's try to fix the shape now, if it's possible. Okay, so we want it to go again slightly inwards, like that. Pardon me. And here we want it to go really, really wide, like that maybe. And here on the top we also want that, so this always little one. Okay, now let's get back and now let's try to fix this here. So I will just try to move it as close as possible again to that outer vertex. So again, the width of that color would be even, right? See that? And now obviously we'll move these ones to cover it in this. So now we are just really making everything so be okay. And this is sort of correct. Yeah, that's correct. And perhaps this was also correct. So okay, so let's see. Okay, this one is way too close. Who moved it that way? It wasn't me, okay? And this one is also quite far away. Perfect. So now we can just easily play with the way it's just way too angled towards inside. So just select this, sorry, we need only those two always. And this one, and perhaps, okay, delete. Let's just G and place it on our code. Again, we just select those two and let's just fix it here, those two, and fix it there. Look at that. Okay, so in here we might prefer to have it just slightly bumping out from the code, but still just slightly. Okay, look at that. And let's toggle on that one. We're gonna shade it smooth. Now let's add over here to make it slightly more edgier than, and this one is way too edgy. Okay, so this time we actually will want to have this a little more rounded. Okay, I did another layer. So look at this over here. I believe that if we do select the edges here and select the edge split, okay, it will fix it in that direction. Cool. And for some reason it kind of ran away. I don't know when, but anyways, so let's take those. G, Y, and Y. And let's just connect it. Okay. Oh, there's another vertex. Oh, there was one. Just gonna control Z. Okay, so there's something strange. Okay, you see that there was an accidentally. Okay, oh, I see. That's this edge that was split. What happens if we actually take G? Okay, we don't want to do this. So, anyways, I'm just gonna actually go and make that edge split, or we can add a loop here. Control R and drag that one all the way, really close to that, and now we can select those vertices G, Y, and let's just connect it here. G, Y, and also connect that here in the back. Okay, so it was just a small detail to fix. Obviously, we can also now play with the angle here in the back, which we actually will for this time, right? So I will toggle on the X-ray view just to make sure that we will select all the vertices. Then we will turn on the proportionating G, and now look what happens. Z, and let's just drag it down. Okay, it's cool. I think we'll select those G, Z. Okay, and G. Now decrease the level of the influence. G, Z, and let's just place it down. Let's see now how it looks. Yeah, pretty much like it. It's cool, and I guess at this time we'll just do this by ourselves here. Can just also rotate it a little bit. Okay, now let's do it with those two. G, and G that down. Okay, now we'll just select this. Okay, and this, and these two. And I think that's now turning quite beautiful. We don't need that proportion thing anymore, so just do by our hand. Okay. Okay, we have some really deep sounds today, don't we? Yes, we do. Alright, my friends. The color of our code is done, okay? It is done. Okay, so I guess that also what we shall do would be just scaling it slightly towards the middle, just slightly. Okay, so just select everything as X, and let's just sorry, Y. We won't be really helping each other. We just need to cover this edge here. So perhaps let's I believe that we can just also G, Y, and let's just move it inwards like this, just slightly. Okay, it won't be doing. Okay, it will actually be doing something here in the back. We don't want that fragment. So, yep, there's no other way, my friends. You know what's gonna what is necessary here. So we definitely will just need to select all those vertices here, besides just this one here on the edge that does the mirroring, and that seam there is perfect. So we're just gonna go with 3 G, Why not just move it like this? It's gonna get a little bit thicker, but it's fine. Okay. So that was it. That was it, right? So this is more like a winter coat. So another nice thing here that I'd like to show you is actually using the body without. Okay, why don't we see anything here? Okay, let's use the body as just clothing. So one of the very easy tricks that we can go for is just adding a circle, 3G, set it down. We've done this millions of times, so now just position it in the middle of the neck, tap to the emote S, and scale it down like that. And basically here, I think it's still slightly off the neck, but that's okay. Tap to the edit mode, E, extrude S, and scale out. And I will just make that little turtleneck. It's not gonna be a turtleneck, but it's gonna be a sweater that has this color here a little bit higher. So let's just select everything, E, and let's just lock in the Z axis and drag it up. Okay, select everything with A and just scale it down so it's just gonna touch the neck as it is. Perfect. G, Z down. Okay, if you want it higher, we can go to this side view with number 3, G, and just drag those vertices up. I think it's gonna, I want to have slightly like that. And let's also do that with the bottom part. Perfect. And now let's toggle off the extra view. Let's add a subdivision surface modifier, the usual one that we always love and like. Right click on it in the object mode and shade it smooth. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now let's add another loop here. So Ctrl R and drag it up like that. Now let's go to the extra view, select all those vertices there, and just scale it out like that. Okay. Tap to the object mode, G, Y, and just move it. Okay, so it won't be really okay. So that's it. Now we can see that there is a lot of space between the body and the coat of ours. So let me see if we can scale it down and let's see what happens. Okay. So I'm just gonna select both the color and the body and let's scale it down. Just like this. Okay. And oh, shouldn't really do that here. Let's scale it in the edit mode. So basically we can select both and go to the edit mode of the both, which is really cool and nice. But if we actually scale it down here, we'll just mess up a little bit of the mirror effect. So I guess that at this time, at this point, we can, let's apply the mirror here. Okay, apply, and suddenly it's just a whole mesh object, which is cool. So now let's select both, go to the edit mode of it and just select everything, and let's, oh, in here, okay. I think I applied something different that I wanted, right? Didn't I? Just gonna control that. Okay, so sorry my friends, I actually accidentally applied the subdivision surface. We want to apply the mirror, okay? So now we can select both, edit mode, select everything, and let's just scale it down. As Z, let's scale it in the Z axis. And G, okay, let's tap out, G, Z, and let's just place it slightly down. It's perfect. Let's see how it looks in the render. Okay, so yeah, just casual winter coat. Why not, right? I mean, obviously there is a little bit of the space here, but let's say that it's kind of airy, and you know, it's not that bad. So let me see if we can do something with it, but obviously we could, but I mean, this is fine. So I think it's gonna be more of the raincoat. I would name it a raincoat, and so it's gonna be a raincoat. So thank you so much for today's modeling with me and Thangys. I hope you learned something new. We tried a different approach here today to just get the same that we kind of did before, but I always like to try and find new ways to model things. So thank you so much for spending time here. Have a great day, and Thangys.